Hello, beautiful souls. I'm really excited to be on here today. I am going to be having a quick chat with a new dear friend, Alisa, and we're going to be talking about cocoon to butterfly. So, this is a retreat that's coming up later this month in Tacoma, Washington, and it's really going to be a powerful journey of transformation. And Alisa is the creator of this cocoon to butterfly experience. She's just hopping in now, so I'm going to add her. Here we go. Hello, hello, Alisa. Can you guys see Alisa on here? There she is.
Hi.
Ah, oh my goodness. Excited to be here with you. Thank you for hopping on this live, taking a moment to chat all things cocoon to butterfly with me.
Yes. Oh my gosh, thank you for the invite. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes. So I would love if you would love to just explain some of the background of how did cocoon to butterfly come to be? What is it? What can people expect? What's just the
Yeah.
arc?
Oh, well, first off, thank you again for having me on. And I'm so excited that you're going to be one of the speakers at our very first live Cocoon to Butterfly event. Yes,
Yes.
it is June 28th and 29th. It is in Tacoma, Washington, which is just south of Seattle. For those of you that are not local, it's an easy flight in, and they've got beautiful hotels that we can recommend. And how it actually came to fruition, the whole movement, was through the death of my husband. So, unfortunate circumstances. We were married for 16 years and we had created a life we didn't need a vacation from, and we were helping others do the same. We owned six businesses, just, traveled the world and just were helping, serving people. And we were on a cruise and we were coming into the last stop in Liverpool, and I found him in the shower and he had had two brain bleeds, front and side, and he lived for 5 days. And we were very just I just never thought that he would leave his body. I just knew this was part of the Mullers, continuation of their love story, sharing with everyone. And on the fifth day, we were making plans for, how we were going to get him home. He had all of his faculties back. The only thing he was, left was a 10-minute memory gap, which I think honestly like helped him because he was such a I always call him a beautiful mind. Like he had this innovation brain that wouldn't stop like being turned on. So the 10-minute memory gap, I think, looking back, really helped him have the most beautiful last 5 days of his life. The ultimately the doctor made a mistake, and so he passed away. Um, and it wasn't born right away. Obviously, I took some time to celebrate his life, and then I took that next 6 months and literally created my own cocoon to butterfly transformation. And then within about a year from that, I decided, okay, what am I being called to do? David and I set both of us up to where we really didn't have to worry about money. Obviously, we thought that we wouldn't die until we were in our 80s. So, he was 52. I was 51, so still fairly young. I have a lot of, work life in me. And even though we were retired, not retired, uh, I couldn't do what we were doing together because I couldn't move forward as Alyssa Muller. It was just too painful. So I had to burn down everything that was me and kind of, as much as it sounds very harsh, literally had to say goodbye to her. And I sent her off with David. So Alyssa Muller is with David, and this new version of my being in this human experience has decided to move on. And I've been called to this movement of Cocoon to Butterfly. I created a 9-stage journey, if you will, that starts at grief is where it ultimately begins, but it's any low vibration, any frequency that's low, jealousy, hate, just the ones that we don't feel good in our body, all the way to freedom, which ultimately will create you in this human experience as being your authentic self. And so we'll be doing this 9-stage awakening, if you will, live. And Maddie is taking one of the stages, and she'll be doing some sound bath healing, which I'm so excited. I've been new to the sound bath healing world, and even like some of the other speakers that they're doing their gifts on stage, this only happened to me after David died. So over to you. I just want you to kind of share with everybody like what you'll be doing on stage, and how basically, or the goal is to leave people with tools. So they're not just hyped up at this event and leaving, and then they go back to the world and they're like, what do I do now? I was so excited and I felt so great. And now what?
Yes. My goodness. Thank you so much for sharing your journey. I know that we all have different experiences in life where we can really experience that sort of like crisis point of identity, and grief is such a huge catalyst into that. And so I love the way that you used this experience as a catalyst into your authentic self. It's really inspiring, and I'm so excited to share what you've created with the world and the way that you've just built this incredible community around it, which I feel so blessed to be a part of. And so, yeah, I'm going to be sharing sound, which is what I'm super passionate about sharing, because it is one of these tools we get to use that helps us get beyond the conscious mind. So sometimes we can get stuck in our healing process when we're overthinking something. And sound can help us really get into the body and move beyond that thinking process where we may have stuck emotion, right? We're talking about grief as a central pillar of this experience. And so we can't always find the language for that. And so we get to move beyond language by using sound as a tool and an exploration, and also frequency and vibration. There's so many reasons why sound is so cool, and that it's really powerful in the work we do. And so I'll be sharing on stage. The stage that I'm a part of is for Speak to It. And so we're speaking to this grief, to the emotion, like you mentioned, these other emotions that we're really trying to connect with and ultimately alchemize. We want to transform them in the process, because that is this cocoon to butterfly, is this like crystallization, like, and all the gooey bits in the middle, it's like that is the alchemy. So really playing with the elements of what that is, allowing you to go into that experience, and then also to surrender to it. It isn't about like, oh, I have to like think, heal through it. It's like, no, like let's allow what's coming through, what is like here for me. Because when we're exploring sound healing, we're helping the body, the whole body, exhale. And so then we're dropping into this parasympathetic state that allows this rest and digest process. So it's more easy for our body to actually move energy and emotion out and through. So when we like bring in this sort of like big juicy question of like, who are you and what are you saying to me? Like, what medicine do you have for me? And then we just like let the mind go, because we get like kind of into this like trancy, beautiful state. Really miracles can happen. And I know that to be true of some of the other facilitators that are going to be on stage, and some of the other tools that we're going to be exploring, that we can have these powerful experiences. And then also you can find sound healing anywhere. Like YouTube is like this massive library, and like there's local studios all the time offering more sound healing opportunities. If you're in Austin, that's where I'm at. I'm always offering things here. And virtually, so there's ways to interact with the beautiful sound healers of the world. But it's really exciting for me to be a part of this experience, because I'm so inspired by you and your journey, and the legacy really that you and David are creating, and what this experience gets to continue to be for people. Because yeah, grief and other emotions, they require our loving attention in order to get to the other side and
Yeah.
do that.
Well,
So yeah. So
thank you. Yeah, thank you for that. I just got like super emotional when you said about the legacy part, because when you're a conduit for a movement, you're never like, oh my gosh, this is what I'm doing. It's like it becomes you. And one of the downloads that I've gotten recently is I am the frequency. So I am the frequency when I go into the room of somebody that's actually done the internal ascension that was so painful. My old self, which I don't think people would recognize who I am if they saw me pre-David and then now, because the old me would have just recognized, of course, the emotion. I didn't ignore it, but it was like, okay, I can sit on it for like 24 hours, and then it's time to like forge ahead, put the blinders on, because that's not going to serve me. That's not going to serve my highest and best good. But now, after I've learned through this healing process that forced me to sit like with myself and just be still, I was forced to learn how to, what you said, alchemize by first recognizing it and then accepting it and then speaking to it. And that's the first phase of cocoon to butterfly. So you're like wrapping up the first phase, which I love because what I got to download from True Source, God, our creator, was that most people after the second phase are going to feel so great that they're going to feel like they don't even have finished the third phase because they're going to learn how to ascend through the problems at work, that annoying person that you work with, or even your spouse that gets on your nerves, like, or your child that's just like making you at wit's end. And you love all these people and you want to be present for them, but you're dishonoring yourself by understanding this is a mirror for you to understand yourself more and to get to know yourself more. And that was the self-discovery. Is like, no, Alisa, you're not going to force through this. Like, I would literally get nauseous and couldn't move, like physically. And that was the only thing that would actually like get me to understand you sit with the emotions. And as painful as that is, it's also the most beautiful thing to be like, hi, friend. Oh, you're sitting right here in my solar plexus. What are you trying to tell me? So yeah, yeah.
That process of tuning in is so powerful because this is wisdom. And then it's like that inner wisdom. And once you find that, once you access that, and then the practice of accessing that, then you really learn who you are and why you're here and how you get to move in the world, how you're being called to serve. So it's
Yeah.
it's terrifying and uncomfortable and so deeply worth it.
Yes.
Like there's almost quite like sitting with it and then being like, what are you teaching me? And then,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. And at the end of the day, what I love about this is David used to tell our tribe, no more bad days. Like he would always help people find the joy amongst the shit. Like find the joy, find the learn. We called it failing forward. It's a John C. Maxwell term. And so some of the things, even though I burnt everything that I was with him down, some of the things are just, he was ascending in his body before he left it. And I recognize it now because he would tell me, Alisa, how we're going to raise consciousness, and we said it in a different way, but how we're going to help people is by just being love, just showing up in the room and being love. And I remember thinking to myself, and I even said it to him one time, who did I marry? This 60s hippie dude? Like, what is happening? And now I totally understand. Like, when you learn how to alchemize, internally ascend, that everything that we have is within ourselves, you discover you don't need to go fix anybody or anything. You literally are just guiding people through your energetic field. And sound is one of the most, I had a night the other night. I don't know how many of you guys, but I feel like this last week has been a week. And I had a night where I was like, these are not my thoughts, but they were consuming me and kept me up all night. And I was like, where is this coming from? And I really felt like it was like kind of where humanity is at right now. Everybody's a little bit fearful. They're a little bit scared of what's going on. And, it's just the outward stuff that's coming in. And I remember, okay, sound. So I used 432 hertz, and I'll never forget it because I don't even know about the hertz stuff. I just, I've heard you do the sound bowls and stuff. And I was like, okay. And I put that on and I was just calm. And I feel like I alchemized like whatever's coming through me as like the humanity, the issues or whatever's happening is like, don't let it attach, but let it go through, honor it, give it gratitude, and send it away with love.
yes, please. Thank you. Thank you, panel, for that.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I love about working with sound, and something that like comes up so often in session and with people and in groups is that we are these channels for that energy. Like we are not separate from the collective. So all the work that we do for ourselves is happening for the collective at the same time. Like this is all like we're all supporting each other.
Yes.
And when we're intentionally allowing that healing for the collective through our being, like that is felt when you set that intention and you allow yourself to be that.
Yeah.
Like it, like all of everything is supporting that. Like
Yeah.
because we are here on the quickly ascending path together.
Yes.
and like every single moment you do of that inner work is making a exponential impact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So before David died, our whole thing was we were teaching people. One of the businesses that we had was helping, and I kind of have to search because it's like there, but it's like buried, helping people turn goals into achievements. So that way, nothing was out of the question. It was like you got a goal, you just need to dissect it, reverse engineer it, calendar block it, put it in there and do the
Mm,
actions and just pivot when the challenges happen. Don't quit, but just pivot when is necessary. And so we had like a system that we placed of when it was okay to pivot, when it was okay to just make tiny adjustments, because then you don't want to quit too early. So while I'm sharing that, although that served us very well and it helped so many, what I discovered after David's death is that was still very forced. It was not flow. And I didn't understand flow before David died because I was a high achiever. Like strength finders, number one achievement, like number one in strength finders. And so I just figured out how to do the shit, like just got it done, And now it's like surrendering,
mm,
just letting every step show its way. Yes, the movement, the end result is raising consciousness, but I don't know the path.
mm,
Like, I'm just one conduit. You're another one. But if we all step into our gifts
mm,
and then live that, you're not teaching, you're not fixing, you're just living it.
mhm.
Then that is how we're going to raise consciousness out of basically the noose that we've all been we've felt it, we've felt it in the past, especially like right after 2020, we're like something is not right here. Yeah.
Yeah, that big blink. A
Yeah.
lot of people take a step back and observe a little more closely here.
Well, think
But I
about
love.
your time. You told me your timeline. Like, when did you start really stepping into your gift? What was the year?
Yeah, so I mean, it was 2020. I
Yeah.
had some stuff started like crickling and crackling in 2017, where it was like, "Hello, Earth to Maddie, like you are like missing a pretty big piece. You want to like pay closer attention." And yeah, my catalyst was a breakup in 2020, and that was like, it was like this inner explosion of who am I? How do I operate? And then also like, oh my God, what is going on in the world? Like this is all like it's all kind of falling apart at the same time.
Yeah.
So, like, quick,
I
yeah.
Wow, I know. And when you shared your story with me, because we just met through a mutual friend, Farhana, who actually is like heading up Cocoon to Butterflies live event. So, huge kudos out to her. She's just been, taking the ball, and the bull by the horns, so to speak, and really doing such a great, beautiful job for this event. And it is going to be the first of many. The download that I got is the first year will be every 90 days. And then the year after that, it will be every month around the United States. And then it will move into the world. And so one of the things that I want to share, just like humbly sharing, is I have a hard time asking for help because when David and I were a couple, we were the helpers. Everybody asked us for help. And they were like, yeah, we'll show up. We save the day, and of course we didn't do it for ourselves, not like in a martyr way, but in a, yeah, like we're older. We've made way more mistakes than you have. So we can understand like how to help you quicker and give you guidance if you are a coach or whatever. And what now I do is the opposite. It's like I'm just the guide for this movement. And so as it immerses, I'm sure we'll lock arms with other movements that are of the same ascension. And then that's when it really takes off. And so, because of Farhana, we've been able to meet.
Mhm.
And when we met in person, when I was in Austin, it was just this beautiful, like, you just feel like I've known this person, like our souls have known each other.
Yeah.
And I just want to give you kudos because I know I was on with somebody else that's fairly young. I'm 53. And I feel like my purpose here is because in the 3D world, I've done so many things and failed forward more than the wins, but the wins were like amazing and created this beautiful life for David and I. But I can help those of you that are like in your 20s and 30s, really in this business game of life. But what you're teaching me is the 5D in the 3D, where I was very 3D, like
Mm.
get the crap done, make the money, give it, serve, but it's very alpha. And now what I'm learning through you guys is it can be a balance, a beautiful balance, because to run a business, you are going to need your alpha. You are, but it doesn't have to like be 80%. It can show up when it's needed and then let the divine feminine do the rest.
I love that so appreciate that about your energy because it's like all of this wisdom and mastery that you've accumulated and really devoted your life to, you offer it so freely. And you mentioned this at the beginning, but being the frequency, like you are that and you share those codes so generously. And like, it's just, I've received so much from you in this time that we've known each other. And I'm so thrilled that there's like more to come and we're going to get to like be in person exchanging
Yes.
codes. And it feels so good because we're at this point in this ascension journey where it's not like teaching is changing. Teaching isn't about like you need to memorize this script. It's like I have a code, you need the code. We hang out, we exchange the code, and then we like go on our way. And then we're like both like elevated by the experience. And so it's really exciting to me because the people that have come into this project and who you're connected with, like knowing the caliber of person that you are, like who you're going to magnetize in, and this experience being the first is going to be extremely potent because of who is going to be magnetized. So like putting this out to whoever's watching this, if you're feeling like I want these codes, like what is this, you're like yes, we would
Yeah.
love this. Is really, that's going to be such an amazing thing, is that we're also going to have this time for small groups and exchanges and people to really get to know each other. And that's such a beautiful gift in this journey because when you're in that work, sometimes it can feel kind of isolating. So I think that we're
Yes.
this experience together, and that this live portion also has an online community support side so that people can really like be connected with people through this journey. Like that's just a whole other layer of magic, is this
Yeah.
like global network that's coming together through this. It really is a movement. Like
Yeah.
it's awesome.
Yeah, and the key points that you stated. So in my journey of Cocoon to Butterfly, I removed myself from everybody. I called it peopling, and I used to be like a butterfly all over the place. My husband was definitely the networker, and so as a couple, that's what we found. We were always, just being around people and helping them and serving them and really teaching and coaching, because that's where my background came from in gymnastics. I owned a gymnastics school and I just sold it last July of 28 years. So I've got like that wisdom under my belt too. Like a brick and mortar business, that is no joke. 48 employees, no joke. Like that took a lot, and a lot of, like I said, failing forward. but but in the meantime, when I removed myself from peopling, I isolated, which is the cocoon portion of it. But in order to like really live fully and present in the world, it is my belief that once you become the butterfly, that's your part of the give back. And it doesn't have to be build a business like you and I have done. It literally could be like go back home and heal your family. Go to your workspace, heal your workspace through your energy. Not telling them what to do or, fixing them, but literally being the frequency that makes them feel better when you're around. Like going in the room and they're like, wow, I feel better. Like it feels good. And then at this live event, why I kind of circle around to that is I was not excited when I got the dream of the dream. That's how this was developed. I was in Brazil, had a mastermind, a dream within a dream of this live event. And I was like, really? David and I used to do live events all the time and retreats. And oh gosh, I don't know. It's a lot of work. And so the once I stopped being a little 5-year-old about it, it kind of like was like, oh, then I was like, okay, it makes complete sense because the collective humanity needs to learn how to be together while they're sharing their gifts,
Mm.
and that's what this live event is going to do. It's going to help people create their own frequency to that. And I know within a 48-hour period is you're not going to show up just 100% what took me 2.5 years to get to. Of course not. But you're going to be able to get through the stages and understand where you're not stuck, but where you're at the place where, okay, that's where I need to really devote my time to after this event. But the end result is your authentic self living in your gift.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I love that. And what's cool is that like we're also at this point where we're seeing that it doesn't take as long. Like what took you 2.5 years, actually people can have miraculous healing experiences,
Yes.
upgrades, downloads, like removals, clearings. Like we are actually in a quantum
Yes.
healing, and it's creating at the same time this foundation of practice of moving through that process, because as we are able to quantum shift through one thing, then the next thing that is ready to be processed comes up.
Yes.
Have layers to this thing. Like if it was just one and then you're done, like we would all have ascended by now.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
process, like we're going through the layers, and like we spoke to again earlier with Gaia, like the earth, the planet Earth has layers. Like we have layers of Earth that is part of this breathing process. When we're talking about ancestral healing, we have longer contracts than just this singular life experience that we're working with and
Yeah.
harmonizing. So as like anything can happen in this 48 hours, whatever it is that you're bringing to this experience. And not only that, but you will be gifted with this process that can help you throughout your life
Yes.
from small to largest experiences. Yeah.
Yeah. And right now we have 65 registered. The goal is to get to 100.
Right.
So, which is amazing. Like you think about like being in a room with 100 other people that are also at different stages of their cocoon to butterfly. Think about like when you leave that event, you're going to have some besties. Like I can tell you that they might not live next door to you or in your town, but you're going to be able to connect, and you won't feel as alone in this journey of internal ascension, which is ultimately why I was like, yes, live events are so important.
Because they set the foundation really, and this is also the time when we get to be in rapid ascension, where we're finally able to meet our soul family that has landed all over the place, and our souls choose these things.
Yes.
Like you go to this experience, you go to this call, you go to this random workshop, you go to the grocery store at this time. It is so divinely orchestrated for each of these things to land that no question you will leave with a bestie. You're going to be like following these people on Instagram, like your like soul connections will be made and reinforced in this
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah, and ultimately the end goal obviously is also for you to discover tools like you said that you can find on YouTube or on people's pages that are free. Like this is not an event to come and sell you a bunch of stuff. It's actually to give you our gifts for free in this room, event of speakers. Now the event of course has to cost money because we do live in the 3D and I have to pay for the space and the food that you'll get, but ultimately you'll leave with way more value than you've invested. And I truly believe that all the speakers that are coming feel that way. Like they said yes because they are, it wasn't to me. It wasn't yes to me. It was yes to this movement because they recognize the same thing that I did in this assignment of being a conduit for it. There are other people that have gone here before me in this space of ascension, and it was my time to say yes. And unfortunately it came from the death of my husband, and so I just said yes. And I feel like I've met some, like you said, soul family, and they're all like my children's age. So yes, I feel a little bit like the oldie in the room, but it's cool because it's reciprocal. Like there's learns on both sides, and generationally we actually have more in common than society teaches us, of the Gen Xers versus the millennials and the stuff that they want us to fight about. And no, it's when your soul knows, your soul knows. It doesn't, the age doesn't matter.
Totally. It's so true. And there, yeah, I just love the call. When the call goes, you feel it. And that's your invitation. You could say yes, you could say no. If you say no, it'll probably come back, probably meant for you. But there's something really special to that call coming in and you saying yes.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay,
Yeah.
whatever the resistance is, trusting that.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah,
Yeah.
really special.
Well, as we wrap up, because we are going on 30 minutes, and then you and I have a webinar where you're actually going to do your sound bowl healing, which I'm so excited. So this is one of two of the boxes that you'll go through at the live event. And so everybody will come and when that register and show up to the event. And inside the box, you can see there are actual tangible items that you go through the box, and each of the speakers will take on one of the stages. And so what I love about this is, for because of my coaching background, some people are audio learners, some people are visual learners, and some people need tactile things. So literally in each of these envelopes, so this is a breathe it one, where you're going to learn how to actually breathe and heal your body through breath work. And so I just want to like show people the visual part of it. And what I love about like this download that I got about that box is this box can be delivered to your home, because some of you guys are going to either not be able to come because of the expenses or maybe the dates conflict, but you could have the box delivered to your doorstep and you could do it in the privacy of your own home. And sometimes when you're doing this internal ascension work, some people don't want to do it in front of other people. And so that's what I love about that part of the Cocoon to Butterfly experience, is you can have this box delivered to your doorstep and do it on your own. There are video tutorials for each of the stages. So instead of the speakers, it's me going through the videos of each of the stages. And so, yeah, so that's an option as well.
Yeah, and I'm grateful that you brought that up and shared about it, because that's also looking at it in week to week, so a 9-week exploration of the journey, which is really powerful to take anything through, to let yourself process through something
Yes.
for 9, because you do get to go a little bit deeper each time. There's some really beautiful journal prompts that really just allow you to kind of be in the energy of that stage, so that you're like bringing more into the alchemy, right?
Yeah.
Because we can do so much in 48 hours, but that gives you like 7 days in each stage. So it's really opening up this portal for deep healing and transformation.
Yes.
The
Yes.
addition to and tool you'll receive with this experience is the ability to bring it home in that way.
Yes. Yeah. Because you'll take your box with you and you can go through them. And like you said, spend a little bit more time on each of the stages. And we've had some great testimonials so far. I did a beta run with 12 people. And one of them, I just was checking back to see if she could make it to the live event. And she said, Alyssa, I'm not going to be able to make it. And it's because of your Cocoon to Butterfly box experience. And I was like, well, okay, what happened? And she's like, well, I just decided to, I know it sounds very dramatic, but quit the job that I no longer am aligned with and move to a state that I've always wanted to. Like for 4 years, I've been thinking about it. And I was like, are you kidding? That's the most beautiful like gift I could have received. And no, don't come to the live event. Thank you for that testimonial.
That's so awesome. Yes, because it's like when we let go of something, which is what this is the ability to let that go. It is giving it back to the universe so that that creative energy can come back to us. So that is it's new potential for something else. And so that thing
Yeah.
I haven't quite been able to hit, I have the energy for it. Oh, I'm the person that can do that. Oh,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, my dog is going crazy. I better hop off.
Yes. So much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on, and I'll see you in a few minutes on our webinar.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye, friends. Bye.
All right, everyone. You can find the link in my bio or in her bio or in the Cocoon to Butterfly page. We would absolutely love to see you in Tacoma later this month. And until then, or the next time I'm on here, I love you. Take good care, and I'll see you next time.